Welcome to True Wellness with Dr. D, the podcast where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. D, and each week I'll bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life. From health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Be sure to check the show notes and grab your free copy of the True Wellness Checklist so you can get started on your journey to true wellness right away. Now, let's get started. Do you feel like your hormones have been hijacked? I bet it's because they have been. Welcome back to the Hormone Reset series. I'm Dr. D, and we are in series session number 2 today. And today's truth is going to shift your entire perspective. The real hormone hackers, what's disrupting your balance? That's where we're going. Because here's the reality. I mean, if you're gaining weight, you're exhausted, you're snapping at your partner, you're wide awake at 3 a.m., it might look like a hormone issue. But hormones, they're just the messenger, not the actual root problem. So today we're uncovering what's really messing with your hormones, often silently, and what to do about it. So first of all, let's talk about why symptoms actually persist. You've likely been told your symptoms are just part of aging. Maybe you've tried supplements for estrogen, or you've tried hormone replacement therapy, or you've tried calorie tracking, more cardio, just trying to push through and waiting for it to end, but none of it sticks. Here's why. Your hormones are responders. They don't act in a vacuum, okay? They react to what's actually happening in and around them. So like stress, toxins, blood sugar, nutrient status, gut health, inflammation, all of those things play a role. So if you're only balancing hormones without actually fixing what's disrupting them, you're kind of like a dog chasing its tail. So I want to walk through with you today 4 of the biggest hidden disruptors that I see every day with women in my practice in midlife. So number 1 is that blood sugar chaos. Let's start with this because no one's talking about this enough. Blood sugar instability is a really big deal. Even if you're not diabetic, even if your fasting glucose numbers are normal. You know, there was a study in 2021 published in Cell Metabolism, and it showed that even quote unquote healthy individuals had massive variability in their blood sugar response depending on their stress, their sleep, and the composition of their meals. And you guys, a lot of people say, well, hey, my A1C came out normal on the blood work. And what is that A1C? So the A1C is the average essentially of your blood sugar over the last 3 months' time. So if you're having spikes, right, where your blood sugar is spiking all the way up after you're eating stuff, crashing all the way down, maybe when you're fasting or you've skipped a meal, the average is still going to make it look like it's completely normal. Meanwhile, you're having all these peaks and drops, and those peaks and drops make a difference. So blood sugar swings, what do? They spike your insulin, okay, and insulin has you start to store fat. They trigger inflammation. They disrupt your ovulation. They increase your testosterone. Those of you who are complaining about chin hair or acne. For women who are menstruating, it worsens PMS. If you're perimenopausal, it worsens perimenopausal symptoms. So symptoms that you might look for if you're having some blood sugar problems. So maybe mid-morning or mid-afternoon crashes, if that's happening to you, that means there's some blood sugar instability that's happening. Intense sugar cravings where you're like, oh my God, I just need something sweet. Maybe anxiety or irritability when you're hungry. We call it hangry in my family, or even just waking at night. or if you start storing fat around that belly area. You see, your hormones, especially insulin, cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, they're all a part of the same communication network. And so if you're eating clean, but you're still drinking coffee on an empty stomach, having, low protein breakfast, like you're grabbing a bagel or you're grabbing a piece of toast, or you're just having avocado toast, or you're snacking on fruit all day or crackers or, protein bars, something like that, you might unknowingly be telling your hormones to stay in chaos. I know that's not what you want to do, but that's what might be happening for you. So here's what I want you to do. So first of all, think about front loading with protein and healthy fat in the morning, okay? So you want to target like 20 to 30 grams of protein in the morning when you're waking up. Now, I know this runs counter to some of the stuff that we've been told, like, oh my gosh, intermittent fasting, it's so wonderful. And I've got to tell you that intermittent fasting for perimenopausal, menopausal women can backfire, okay? So I want you to, having a regular eating schedule is very helpful. Can you have longer periods of time without food? Absolutely. But let's not lose that morning meal at this time in your life. Okay. And bear with me. We have a lot of clients who come into my practice and they've been doing intermittent fasting because they saw it on the internet. It's really great. And I'm not saying that it's not beneficial, but if you are a perimenopausal, menopausal woman, it's going to do things you might not want it to do. You may find yourself actually storing fat versus losing fat. So we want to manage that. You also want to stabilize your meals. You want your meal to last 4 or 5 hours without having crashes. You want to have that regular schedule so you're not like in the space where you're snacking all day long. Okay. And I would avoid having what I call naked carbs. You want your carbohydrates are not bad, you guys. A piece of fruit is not bad. Okay. Real whole grains is not bad, but you want to pair those things. You want to make sure that you've got fiber, you've got fat, and you've got protein. That's important. And then within that, like when you finish your meal, go out for a walk. Just even if it's just for a few minutes, or walk around your office, take a lap around the office if you're at work, walking for 10 minutes, right? Just 10 minutes after your meal will help to lower that glucose spike. So see where you can get that in. If you can't walk, maybe you're in an office where you can't move around or something like that, maybe do a couple squats, right? Do something to actually get all of that used up and reduce that spike, okay? Now, next, we have to talk about your stress response. This goes without saying. Sometimes I feel like a broken record, but it's so important. And don't get me wrong, I've got stress in my life too, just as every human being does. It is part of life, but we have to manage the way that we respond to stress. Now, I know many of you listening are high achieving, high powered women. I get it. And, cortisol gets a bad rap, but it's not the villain. That's the truth. It is your built-in survival hormone. It's the hormone that wakes you up. It's the hormone that regulates your inflammation. It's the one that supports your energy, keeps your brain alert. But when stress becomes chronic, the cortisol rhythm gets distorted. So instead of high in the morning, low at night, which is what you want, you end up getting, flatline in the morning. So you're exhausted, and then high at night so that you're wired and tired. So that means you're exhausted in the morning, your brain is racing at night, you're having sugar and caffeine cravings, and there's no resilience to stress. So this leads to unstable cycles, early perimenopause. I mean, there was a study in 2018 in the Journal of Endocrinology that found that cortisol rhythm dysregulation is directly linked to menstrual dysregulation, right? Menstrual irregularity. So poor ovulation and even lower estrogen production over time. So I really want to emphasize this because stress isn't just mental. It can be things like overeating. It can be things like undereating. It could be like over exercising. It can be toxin exposure, blood sugar crashes, emotional repression, right? Like burying those emotions. It could be perfectionism. It can be people pleasing. Anybody dealing with these? I'm sure. So your body doesn't separate the emotional, the physical, and the nutritional stress. In fact, it responds to all stress in the same way. So what do? Okay, here's what I want you to do. Number one, begin the day with light and breath. And I don't mean your cell phone. I mean, like, get outside, get that sunlight, that first morning sunlight into your eyes. If you can even get on the ground barefoot first thing in the morning, it will do wonders for you. Leave your phone aside. Do not touch that thing for as long as you don't have to in the morning. I want you to eat within 60 to 90 minutes of waking up. Don't do this thing where you're going 3, 4, 5 hours in the morning without eating. Your cortisol is already coming up because it's supposed to in the morning. But then if it feels like you're starving yourself, what happens? That cortisol then continues to rise. You want your body to feel safe. And the other thing I want you to do is create what I call the cortisol curfew. That's right. You have a cortisol curfew at night. No news. It is not the time to scroll Facebook, Telegram, whatever. You guys, I can tell you, I've gotten stuck myself in this Telegram loop. It's like, well, I don't read the newspaper. I don't do this, but I do look at certain channels on Telegram, right? But man, doing it at night before you go to bed, it doesn't bring you to that space of calm and ease. And you guys, it could be work that you're doing at night. It could be watching violent movies, whatever it is. Just have no screens after 8. Maybe get back to that good old book reading or meditation before you're going to bed. Now, the next thing that I highly recommend is doing 5 minutes of breathing, right? And give yourself a rhythm for it. Sometimes I like to do in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. That is especially helpful when you're feeling frazzled, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you need to bring your body back into that regulated state. And this is the other one that most people don't want to hear, especially if the hormone imbalances are leading to extra weight gain and such. But if you are out there and your body's stressed and now you're doing all these high intensity workouts, they're going to have you feel worse, not better. So this is not the time to start to bring in high intensity workouts. And we'll talk more about exercise and working out as we go through this hormone series here. Now, the next thing that we have to address is the gut. Okay. The gut is not just about your digestion. It is your hormone processing center. So take estrogen, for example. It is metabolized in the liver. It's excreted through bile and stool. So if you're constipated, if you're bloated, if you're inflamed, your estrogen stays in circulation for too long. So then we end up with breast tenderness, heavy periods, mood swings, histamine sensitivity, right? Where we're reacting to everything, or fatigue, or estrogen dominance, or excess weight around the hips and the thigh areas. In fact, I don't know if you've heard this term before, but there is a name for this. It's called the estrobolome, right? The part of your gut microbiome that regulates estrogen metabolism. You guys, I love the science. So there was a study in the Journal of Endocrinology in 2019, and it highlighted how gut dysbiosis in the estrobolome is a driver of hormone-related cancers and PMS. So think about that. And symptoms of your gut, that it might be hijacking your hormones. Maybe you feel worse before your period, or you bloat after everything that you eat, or you're constipated, or maybe you're swinging between really loose stools and really slow moving stools, or maybe you're getting skin rashes or breakouts or rosacea. These are all things that are indicative of an issue at the gut. So what are some of the things that you do? Guys, most important, you want to make sure that you're pooping every day. And I always say 2 to 3 times, like soft serve ice cream, nice and beautiful. That's what your goal should be. So that means that you've got to eat a lot of fiber. Okay. And your fruits, your vegetables, these are all critically important. I tell my clients, hey, I want you to aim for 7 servings of vegetables a day. 7 servings of vegetable a day. That's enough fiber to get everything moving. But you can also add, like, prebiotic fiber is fantastic. That's like cooked and cooled potatoes or leeks or garlic. Those are prebiotic fibers that can be helpful as well. And one really simple thing, you guys, and I know many of you high performers out there, you're always on the go and hardly taking the time needed to actually sit down and eat a meal, but eat slowly and chew. Eat slowly and chew. In fact, I have my ABCDs, Dr. D's ABCDs of mindful eating. And the first one is pay attention. Because yes, digestion begins in your mouth, but I always say it begins with your other senses. When your eyes see the food, when you smell the food, maybe when you hear the cooking in the kitchen, that stimulates your body to know that food is coming. Okay. So pay attention, breathe before you eat, then chew, 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 chew. That's letter C. And then D is delay before taking your next bite. So just that simple act of bringing that mindfulness will help to restore your gut and get your hormones back into balance. It's not the only thing, of course, right? You want to bring all these different things together. Now, the other piece too is liver detox. So your liver plays a major role. So cruciferous vegetables like your broccoli, your cabbage, your kale, those kinds of things, those are really helpful in order to help with liver detox. And of course, you want to avoid excess alcohol. I'm sorry, you guys, it disrupts the microbiome. And the detox enzymes that you need, they get disrupted when we're drinking alcohol. So, keep it to the bare minimum. And I know if you're feeling stressed and you're like, oh, I need that glass of wine to get through my day, find something else to get through your day with, because it's just not worth it. So the next one we need to talk about, you guys, is the toxins, because we do live in a toxic soup is what I'm going to call it. And our hormones are swimming in it, from plastics and pesticides, the perfumes, the receipts. Your body is exposed to hundreds, probably more, of chemicals daily. And these chemicals, they mimic and they block natural hormone signaling. So the environmental working group actually found that the average woman uses 12 personal care products daily. And those 12 products have, on average, from their research, have over 160 different chemicals, many of which are unregulated and proven endocrine disruptors, proven hormone disruptors. And the problem is these toxins, they impair your ovulation, they disrupt your thyroid, they block the hormone receptors, they contribute to estrogen dominance and autoimmune issues. So these are things we have to pay attention to. So if you're having sensitivity to smells or perfume, you're getting headaches, you're having skin breakouts, you're tired and fatigued, you've got brain fog, you kind of like feel hungover after meals or wine, that's a sign that you are in that toxic overload state. So what I want you to do is start to swap one product per week, right? Do what's comfortable for you. Take baby steps if you need to. Just find the non-toxic version of that product. Get rid of the perfume, you guys. Just get rid of the perfume. Use essential oils, good, clean essential oils. But anything that has fragrance on it, from your perfume itself to your soap, your shampoo, your conditioner, that you want to get rid of. Ditch it, okay? And use a water filter. Yes, Even for your shower, use a water filter, especially for your shower, right? You're stepping into this box. You're closing the door. You're turning the temperature up. You got all the steam. Your pores are wide open. You are taking all of that in, including, yes, the chlorine from the water itself. So you want to filter that water. And please stop heating food in plastic. If you're, number one, get rid of the microwave, right? Just get rid of the microwave. It changes the molecular composition of your food, right? That's how it actually heats the food. Get rid of it. But stop heating up your food in plastic, because that is another big source of endocrine disruption. And one of the things I love for my clients to do also is dry brush, right? Get a dry brush, get that lymphatic system moving, or sweat, right? Sweat from working out or from sauna. That helps the lymphatic system get those toxins out. I like to just bounce, right? Like just bounce. If you got a rebounder, like one of those little mini trampolines, do that. But get your body moving. Your cardiovascular system's got your heart to pump everything through. Your digestive system has peristalsis, but your lymphatic system actually relies on your movement and such to actually get things moving. So that's a big one, you guys. So here's what I want you to remember. Your hormones don't malfunction out of nowhere, okay? They're actually responding to inputs. Your body's so smart. So if you want better hormone balance, you don't just take something or balance your estrogen. You have to work upstream. You've got to remove the noise to actually calm the chaos. And most women, they don't have a hormone problem. What they have is a blood sugar issue, a cortisol issue, a gut issue, a toxin issue. Okay. And that is showing up as hormonal issues. So the best part of this, though, seriously, the best part is it is fixable. Not overnight, I know, but through rhythm, through realignment, and returning to how your body was designed to function. So if you found yourself nodding along today, this is your invitation to stop guessing and start tuning in to your body. And of course, reach out to me. Let me know what hijacker hit home for you. I read every message. You can message me at Danielle@southbaywellness.com. And you guys, next week, we are digging even deeper into the hormone equation. We're going to talk about why diets, detoxes, and doctors aren't fixing the hormones. And we're going to break down why most plans, backfire in midlife and what actually will work for your unique biology. So your healing isn't just about willpower, ladies. It's about the right map. It's about a body-led approach where you're paying attention to your body's own cues and signals as feedback, not shutting them down. So let's keep going. You're doing this, and I will go ahead and see you next week. This is Dr. D reminding you to tune into your body, connect with what matters, and embrace the journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Be sure to grab a copy of the True Wellness Checklist right in the show notes. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you for the next episode.